Welcome back to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
Sarah finally had to put the book down.
I know. I'm like, it's so good.
Speaking of good things and beautiful art, there's some artists among our seniors at Perry Lutheran Home. And so joining us this morning, Molly Clark. She's Director of Marketing for Perry Lutheran Home. Thanks so much for being our guest this morning, Molly.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Glad to be here.
Where did the idea for these handmade clay crosses begin? We'll get into where they're headed to, where they've gone. But the clay crosses made by senior residents at Perry Lutheran Home. Tell us about where this story began.
Sure. The idea for the clay crosses, or as we call them, either prayer or comfort crosses, really came from one of our longtime employees. And she has an undeniable passion for both residents, for caring for those who have Alzheimer's or dementia, and, of course, Jesus. And for her, it was another way that she saw that she could engage our residents. It didn't matter their level of cognitive ability or physical ability, but they could still engage in something meaningful and in mission outreach to the community. And they've gone far beyond the community, which is really neat.
How have the residents welcomed this opportunity to serve? Can you share some stories from the residents?
Yes, I sure can. So if you really think about it, you spend your whole life engaging with others through community and church, and it really shouldn't have to stop simply because you transition into a different kind of home. In fact, it can be detrimental to one's physical, emotional, and spiritual health to just stop that. So we find that by nurturing one's ability to continue to serve and to serve together with others provides them with that meaning and purpose and value. And one resident that comes to mind, her name's Virginia, and she lives in our assisted living community. Her home address and physical abilities have changed, but boy, does she have a zeal and passion to serve the Lord. And she is an incredible witness to and impacts the lives of other residents through these prayer crosses, and she impacts the lives of our staff, volunteers, community members, and more just through how she lives and serves. It's such an important piece of her life, and she is able to continue that in many, many ways. While I don't have a specific story about a resident in one of our memory care communities, we do have those residents that suffer with Alzheimer's and other dementia, and that disease just takes so much from them. But they can still be a part of mission outreach, engaging the world and serving others through making these prayer crosses and other mission projects.
Where have the crosses been sent so far?
Oh, gosh. I can't begin to tell you all the places that they've gone. But I'll tell you a few of them, because when people get their hands on them, they usually like to get a few because they have some friends in mind, family, neighbors, children, grandchildren, somebody that they may just see at church that's struggling. So they go everywhere. I'm sure we have no idea the reach, but we have sent them down to Texas during Hurricane Harvey relief. So if there's a natural disaster, we like to find connections and hopefully make their way to help the people suffering or the workers that are providing that care afterwards. They make appearances at pastor and church worker conferences, LWML conventions. I bet they're down in Alabama right now. Churches and schools all over Iowa and in neighboring states. We've had LCMS teachers hand them out to children in their class or give them to students for graduation, or pastors give them out at confirmation. We've given them to elderly in various communities as we go out and visit and make assessments. And they've even made their way to Haiti, given to elderly residents in the community of the town of Jacmel, Haiti, and then to the first residents that moved into the Jacmel Lutheran Home, in which we had the honor of helping move in the first residents. So where they will go, we just never know the reach.
Wow.
So there are more opportunities in the coming year. You mentioned some going to the LWML convention. I believe there are some that are going to. Are there some going to the LCMS convention as well this year? I think, or headed from there.
I would imagine. We kind of take orders as they come in,
Sure.
and we try not to overwhelm the residents, and make it a fun and servant project for them. So we try to help manage the orders that come in.
Tell us about the actual process of making these. These are made from clay, but they're made by hand, right?
Yeah, so it's a special type of clay that we buy called Sculpey clay, and it's actually a really good activity of making these crosses to keep kind of hands and fingers strong and agile. And so they take usually a white clay and mix it together with a color. So there's these beautiful swirls as they work the clay and work the colors together. And of course, form it into the shape of a cross, each one unique and imperfectly perfect in their own way. And they, at the end, clutch them in their hand and really leave their imprint in that cross. And if you think about it, an elderly person's hand has done so many things in their years of life: cooking, taking care of people, serving. It's so amazing that they can leave their unique handprint on this comfort cross, share the love of Christ, and impact people really across the world and for generations to come. So each one has their maker's handprint and fingerprints that last. And so, of course, they are glazed after that and then baked in an oven.
Why is serving others an important part of life at Perry Lutheran Home?
It's just, excuse me. Serving others is really just simply who we are and a way to live out our faith. The mission of Perry Lutheran Homes is serving Christ by serving others. And we are fully engaged with the church and the community. So whether it's making prayer crosses or bandages out of bed sheets to use in medical missions, packing meals for the hungry, Bible story color books, homemade dog treats with a Christian message, it's just our way of life. And we truly believe that no matter your age, no matter your ability, that you matter. Your life is valuable, it's purposeful. And serving, is just a way that we can live that out. And when we think about mission outreach, a lot of times we think of countries far away, but our residents have a huge opportunity, and we do at Perry Lutheran Homes as a local ministry and mission to, 125 staff members, 30 daycare children and their families, all the other residents in our care communities and their families, hundreds of visitors, volunteers, and community members. So it's really central to who we are and what we do every day.
How does Perry Lutheran Home really emphasize living fully as we get into our later years in life?
Yeah, there's so many ways. So I'm actually newer to long-term care, and I never knew a nursing home could be so exciting. Like, seriously, there's never a dull moment there, and there's so many amazing things that they do to serve and that they get to do to live. Mm-hmm. I love to throw this out here. The average age of those that live at Perry Lutheran Homes is actually 58. We're really, really youthful. But the number factors in our 30 children that are cared for in our on-site intergenerational daycare called Acorns and Oaks. So they live by interacting regularly with other generations, too. It's amazing to see our wise oaks, our residents, engaging with our little acorns, and they do all sorts of activities or just reading or exercising together, worshiping together. For memory care to engage residents with living, we have to really get innovative because we have to help them engage through safe ways and different ways. We have a driving simulation station with a real interior of a car so they can continue driving. Baking, our staff finds out their favorite recipe and helps them make it once again. They can nurture babies, pet newborn puppies, and so much more just through being innovative. Of course, outdoors is a huge piece of living. A lot of these residents maybe have been a farmer or like to garden, so our outdoor spaces are hugely important. We have secure decks for our memory care community. We have sensory gardens that they can plant flowers and smell the herbs. We give them bike rides. Just, I think, 2 days ago, an 82-year-old lady said, I'm riding a bike for the first time because we have an all-ability bicycle. So there are just tons of different ways. And then the last piece of our living is really the Christian caring community and the Christ-centered care. So it just helps residents to continue to grow spiritually. We've got weekly worship and Bible study, special services. We have on-site vacation Bible school coming up in July. And all of our faithful volunteers and visitors from our local and supportive LCMS churches. And we are served by 3 amazing LCMS pastors, too. So lots of ways to live.
We have like 2 seconds left, and I'm ready to move to Perry Lutheran Home. So how do I find out how? Where do I find that information?
Visit us on the website at perrylutheranhome.org and follow us on Facebook at Perry Lutheran Home /Spring Valley Community.
Thank you so much, Molly Clark. Thanks for joining us on the Coffee Hour.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Andy and Sarah.
I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
The Coffee Hour with Andy and Sarah is a production of KFUO. To support the Coffee Hour and KFUO Radio, visit KFUO.org. You can also text KFUO to 41444 or send an email to gifts@KFUO.org. And you can call us at 800-844-0524. KFUO. Christ for you, anytime, anywhere.